Welcome to another episode of Great Northern Exotic. Let's build a winter shelter for my arid bed. It's the beginning of October and it's time for me to think about creating some sort of overhead structure to protect my desert plants from the wet of the British winter. Now, if you're interested in just the build, I suggest you have a look at the chapters and skip along to the build. But before we get into the build, I am just going to give a rundown of what's happening in this bed and what has happened since it was planted back in the spring. So for people who have not been following along, essentially this used to be a regular tropical style border like the rest of the garden, and this spring I decided to dig out the soil, dig out the plants, fill it with 100% gravel, finish the edging with some sleepers and plant it with an array of arid and desert style planting. So we've got a few various things in there. We've got the yuccas in there, we've got some opuntias, a few aloes, hardy aloes and various bits and pieces, a couple of yucca, agave down here. But essentially what I'm trying to do is to create something that doesn't involve a lot of watering. So last year in particular, a lot of my thirstier plants really struggled with the heat and the drought. Excuse me. And so I want to try something that's just low maintenance, really. And of course, when you're growing these kind of plants in Britain, it's not so much the temperatures that kills them, because a lot of this stuff is fairly hardy temperature wise, but it is the wet. So I need to protect all of these from the rain by building some sort of lean-to structure. So let me show you what materials I've got and I'll talk about the plan. Okay, I want to preface this by saying that my DIY skills are at an absolute minimum. So a lot of this will just be making up as I go along, but let me give a run through of all the materials that I've bought and the total cost for this project. So I picked up the timber from Wicks and it came in a pack of 10. They are 40 mil by 25 mil, 2.5 metres long. Got 10 of them, and a pack of 10 cost £35, £34 something. And then I got this tarp from Amazon, and it's a reinforced clear tarpaulin. Now they do every imaginable size in increments of 1 metre, and I've gone for a 3x3 metre tarp, so 2.4 metre length timbers with a 3 metre tarp. It's as close as I could get to sort of a matching size that would leave me with minimal work to do, really, and it should fill most of the bed. And then the rest of the money, this was £10, this tarp, and then I spent another £5 on washers and screws the washers obviously to hold the tarp in place. I was thinking of putting battens on it, but I mean that was maybe something I had. So a total cost for all the materials comes to just under £50, and I'll see if I can do it with what I've got. So the first job is to sort of build a frame that will be about 2.4 by 2.4 metres square, and I'll brace it in a few places. I've got some L brackets as well somewhere lying around that I'll use to reinforce it, but let's start building the frame anyway. So I think this is going to be the framework that we'll start with, and I think that should give it enough stability. So let's put it together. That's the frame done. A lot bigger when it stood up on end, and I'm just putting in these little L brackets in the corner, just to give a bit of extra strength, really. So I've positioned the frame roughly where it's going to end up, but it's very precarious and I do need a lot of cross bracings putting on there, and I'm going to figure out how to fix it to the ground as well so it don't blow away. But you can see sort of the coverage there. So a 3 metre long tarp should cover the 2.4 metre sort of diagonal, and then it should hang enough over the edge there so any water falls onto the path. And the best thing of all is when I'm in the dining room, I should still get a nice view of the bed over winter. So I'm going to keep working on it. I've got a bit more timber left to sort of design some cross braces. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Right, last few screws and washers to go in, but you see there how I've attached it. And it's got 2 open ends there, so plenty of airflow through there. And because this is sort of this direction is west, and we'll get a lot of the rain coming from that way, the rain should hit it head on there, and it should, in theory, drip down and hopefully mostly onto the path there. So that's my arid bed shelter build. We'll see how it holds up in a storm. It is fairly solid, but I might add a few more. I've got a bit more wood left to add some cross braces, but yeah, there we go. Let me know what you think, and if you're doing something similar, I would love to hear about it. All right, we're 2 days on. We've had a little bit of windy weather, and I'm feeling like it's not secure enough. So what I'm going to do is, I've got these remaining lengths of wood there, and I'm going to fix them as battens on both edges, and then I'm going to use these washers and screws further down to sort of pin it in the middle there and make it more secure, because at the minute I'm kind of feeling like it is not going to survive winter intact if I don't secure it. So yeah, let's update this. Right, a few improvements then. A couple of battens on either side, and then I've just put a little an extra cross brace in there at the back. Now it is again pretty windy, and I'm sure this won't be the first time I am adjusting it over winter, but there we go. That's the view from the dining room, and that is my finished version 1.0 arid bed winter shelter. Cheers.